Howdy guys, how we doing? Welcome back to another video of Westland Survival. How we doing? Hope you guys are well. Welcome to update 7.4. We are about to go into the season of growth. Season, oh my god, I can't even say anything. Season of Growth Battle Pass event set up for new adventures and prizes starting April 26th. So it's basically going to drop in the next day or so by the time this video goes up. New workbench gear type, luck meets craft, a new gear for forge, armor, and firearms. Be interested to see what they look like. Workbenches may boost or lower stats, offering a fun gamble for enhanced gear. Okay, that's interesting. Now, I noted that they didn't actually specify tools with that, so that's a bit of a bummer. But look, what can you do? Armor and firearms, it's better than nothing. Weather readiness, new temperature markers in the UI and armor descriptions ensure that you're always dressed for weather. Fog of war, uncharted regions are now veiled in fog. That's interesting. Might have to suss out the overmap to see what that looks like compared to the original beforehand, basically. Alright, so let's read in the Season of Growth patch notes here. So basically the event's going to run from the 26th of April to the 16th of May. As always, the rewards feature essential resources, items, VIP days, and other valuables. This time you'll also discover new workbench gears among the prizes, which can either lower or boost your items. So it's going to be interesting to see that, actually, because we don't know obviously how much this is going to lower or boost items depending on what type of gear you're going to receive, and how that's sort of going to implicate or benefit you depending on what you actually craft. So you might actually have to spend a few resources on crafting the same item, whether that's an armor or a firearm, and see if you get the best one or the worst one. But we're obviously not going to know unless if it's going to show us what the range is going to be, as in, you know, is it going to be plus 20 something or negative 20 of something, you know, do you know what I mean? So that's obviously going to be the only indicator. I'm hoping that's going to be how it's sort of going to be shown once we see these new gears. Obviously, we're not going to see them today, but hopefully down in our travels, we'll definitely revisit that at a later stage. So I'm thinking that that's going to happen shortly. And plus, these gears are going to be added to the bandit camps, as you've seen here on the screen. So basically, you can secure them mainly in the battle pass, and it gives you a guaranteed chance to be one of the first to obtain them. Okay, so there you have it. And if you unlock the premium pass, you'll also get more impressive prizes, including a special hunter's luck ring, which has a chance of killing animals with a one-shot. That's interesting. And then from here, the battle pass event rules, basically the same. Bits of pieces. The currency is going to be golden bullets. You're going to have to pretty much do every single task at hand, and obviously the month task, or sorry, the period of the battle pass tasks, in order for you to get all the prizes. So that's something that you're going to have to sort of take into consideration, and you're obviously going to be level 30 to participate. So yeah, there you have it. So they're the patch notes of everything here. So I've just reset my 28 days. I actually turned off my ambience and music, only because when I was doing some grinding before the update, I was listening to music. So I just wanted to sort of point that out. I tend to do that because I rather listen to music and have the game muted. That's just the way I roll with these sort of things. So I just wanted to at least put that into perspective. Anyway, let's get out of this anyway. So let's go ahead and have a bit of a suss and see has anything changed on here. It doesn't appear to be that way. Nothing appears to be changed here either, and nothing's been changed there. So let's go ahead and have a bit of a quick suss here. So as you can see, I got some little bits and pieces. I actually went to do an old road event, so I ended up getting that sorted out. Now, one thing I did read in the patch notes as well, and there are some extended patch notes that you guys can take a look at as well. They will be available in the Discord mainly, so you guys can actually have a bit of a read for that before you do anything else, before you obviously dive into the game and start seeing all the other nifty things that the update has to offer you guys. So there's obviously that, but more importantly, yeah, there will be some other bits and pieces that you'll sort of need to have a look at. But what I wanted to sort of suss out for me personally is just having a bit of a squeeze around and seeing some of the changes as well. As you can see, my fella is on the thirsty and hungry side, so let's just go ahead and just satisfy that need. We'll get some basic food into him, so at least this way I don't have to do a cutscene basically. So yeah, there is that. Let's go ahead and do that there. Now, gears. Now, this was a thing that they had spoken about here. You can actually remove a gear now, so that wasn't mentioned in the patch notes that I just ran with you guys. Now they are in the extended patch notes, so you can obviously purchase the extra gear slot, but if you do go ahead and remove that, it's going to cost you 10 gold in order to do so. So why would you be wanting to do that? Look, I don't know at this point in time, because you're obviously looking to get better gears for your workstations, right? So you're basically looking at that from a different perspective, and you wanted to obviously find the best gears and use them for the right workstations. Obviously, compatibility, and whatever the weakest one is, you would more or less get rid of. So what does that mean? I feel like there's going to be some changes with gears further down the line, which would probably suit this feature a little bit better for later instances. So I guess in an extreme circumstance, if you do have some really good quality gears and you don't want to get rid of them or destroy them effectively, then you might want to spend the 10 gold to retrieve it, right? And who knows, it could be worth something further down the line. I don't know whether or not they're going to introduce a trading system for gears, or you can deposit gears for other resources, things like that. I'm not too sure. That's something that I'm not that's not being made available to me. This is just my thoughts, my speculation as to what I believe could happen, maybe, possibly. Who knows? But that's what I'm thinking. Why else would they enable this feature and provide this feature to us? That's what I'm thinking. But if you've got some really good gears and you feel like that you need to hang on to them, then obviously there's that. So you're gonna need to make that call. But any sort of like very lower end tier gears, like like your 1s through to 3, I would say, you probably just go ahead and just destroy them and or remove them, sorry, in favor of anything tier 4 plus, whether it's T5 or T6. So that's what I'm thinking. Let me know about that in the comment section down below, your thoughts, of course. And another thing noted, they did mention things about your temperature. So they've reintroduced, because it was a brief feature that they added, being the temperature range, and yeah, so I definitely want to show you guys that at some point. So let's see, this has, whoops, no, we want to click on the yes, here we go. Okay, cool. At least I get to show you before this starts as well. So what we can't see, unfortunately, is the tasks. So we're not going to be able to look at that, unfortunately. So tasks will come and they'll be done daily. So you've got about 4 or 5 to do in a day. And look, probably my best suggestion is, as soon as you get them, or as soon as you see them, get them done as soon as you possibly can. So you can focus on the rest of the day doing other things in Westland. Basically, that's my opinion. But look, you guys do what you want to do, and if it works for you, awesome. Now, these are going to be some of the rewards. As you can see, we actually get some in some rubber, which is nice. T6, which is great. SW2 for a weapon. That's actually not too bad. Now, again, this is dependent on your level as well. So if you're at the higher end of the scale, you're going to see this type of rewards. And if you're on the lower end of the scale, you're going to see some slightly different rewards as well. And then obviously you can see that there are some, you got the premium pass as well, and that gives you a whole host of other resources as well. So you've got that there too. But like I said, okay, here we go. So level 15, you get the elk head as well, and if you're on the premium, you get a tapered roller bearing. So there you go. So this is your first instance looking at it, right? So this is the type of gears that you can expect. You can get a so for defense crafted items, this can be found in the Interflu, compatible with Armor Workbench. Okay, so what this means is defense for crafted items. So this doesn't classify or specify what type of part of armor it was. So if you remember, or if you guys know, gears as it was. Now I don't know whether if pre-gears before this update, basically if you get one, it only tailors to one aspect. So let's say, for example, you get a gear for that's armor based, but it's only going to give you a buff for hats, for example, or coats, or whatever it will be. It's not for the whole armor set. This basically suggests that this will be affecting the whole armor set, regardless of which one that you're going to be doing, right? So yeah, you could get a deficit of -15, or you can get a buff to +15. Now I'm assuming that there's going to be other ones out there that are going to produce better range ability and, you know, worse debuffs, if you want to call them that way. So I'm feeling that that's going to happen as well. So yeah, look, we don't know exactly what that looks like yet, but this is a really good indicator as to what you could be looking at too. And obviously we can get this at the Interflu as well. So I probably will make a video running the Interflu eventually, and we'll see if we can get one of these new gears. So if we move along here, as you can see, we've got some other bits and pieces here. Then at the end, you've got the hunters. Luck here, rare item, no doubt its owner is experienced hunter, additional 500 health and 5% chance to kill an animal instantly. So this could be a good little happy thing if you do have something like this further down the line. I don't know whether or not if you can actually mix it up with buffs as well, because I think there is critical shot chances for some food buffs, if I'm not mistaken. We'll definitely double check that actually, just to sort of confirm that, but I think that is a thing. So if that's a case, then that could, I don't know whether or not that will actually add to the critical chance to kill a animal instantly, or it's just a critical chance of just hitting the animal. I don't know, but that's something that's interesting to me, so that's what I've sort of taken away from that. And then of course here you've got the, oh, there you go. So this is for a gun, so -85 to +70 for damage for crafted items as a whole, and that's available at the gun workbench. So there you go. That's one thing there that you can actually see. Again, that's a tier 4. So again, tier 5s might be a little bit better. So, you know, you're going to have to go down the cultist camp road if you want to try and get yourselves one of those goodies, or go down the Baril Wilds over the Digger's Den to get a tier 6 and see what you can get your hands on that in that aspect there. And then obviously you've got the tapered roller. So this is for the forge. Okay, so same stats but for the forge, okay, as opposed to the gun workbench. So I just wanted to sort of clear that up. But let me just quickly go into the kitchen here, because I know there is a buff for well, that's protection for animals. So let's just quickly have a bit of a suss here. I don't know whether or not if there's something here for us to see. Critical strike chance. So the gumbo. So I'm thinking, will that add to the pet side of things? Because the critical strike chance is, I guess the way I read it is, it's got to be across the board, whether that's animals or bandits and the like. So I'm thinking that could be the case. But again, we're not too sure whether or not that does actually add to the 5%. So would you get a +12 on that? Who knows? But that's what I'm thinking. Potentially it could be a thing. If not, it is what it is, but at least that way, that's something for you guys to consider. All right, so with the Interflu here, okay, so you need armor for hot weather. It's +35 degrees. I think that's actually changed from previous versions. There's +26 for that, and then you've got +29 over there, +32, and the chromite mine is +32. Now, do the deep water have temperature changes? So it's just +20, but it doesn't say hot weather specifically. So you can probably still roll without having a need to cater to buffs that cater for food or water. In this instance here, dried forest, let's have a look here. It's +26, so it doesn't actually tell us that we need any warm clothing, or sorry, good clothing or cooler clothing, or armor in general in this case here. What I probably would like to see is versions of armor that actually cater to cooler aspects, you know, to cool your play down. for right now, it's only just basically emphasizing that you just need armor in general. So there you have that. But let's. And one thing I would love to see is if the naturals camp can actually be moved a little bit closer, especially for things like pets and stuff like that. If you're into doing that and breeding things like that, I feel like a good place should be over here in the dried forest, in between dried forest and dense forest. I get why they probably wouldn't do that for certain reasons. That's just me thinking out loud. Probably more particularly, you guys would probably end up farming the dry forest and getting a whole lot of resources there. So I guess there's that aspect there. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, and then you got -10 up here in the mountains. So let's go ahead and have a bit of a squiz there. -7, -4, -13 actually. There you go. There you have it. -7 for that. And then if you go over to Boreal Wild here, so only -4. That's interesting. -13 and Denali -19, and then the Digger's Den would be again -19. So there you go. So I'm actually quite interested to see. Now I did actually bring, well, I've actually obviously had food and water just to sort of take my players' starvation out of the equation, but if we just quickly test this and we'll see exactly how this sort of appears. Hopefully we'll get to show you that gauge. So once we get over there, I'll show you guys exactly what that looks like. Okay, so we are in the shallow lake right now. So let's have a quick look and see. There you go. So there's a little indicator over here. So you got the shallow lake at daytime, 29 plus. Protection from heat up to 26 degrees and cold protection up to 4%. Sorry, -4. Now, too hot, you are not dressed for the weather. So there you go. So I'm technically not using the right type of armor for this because my character is saying that it's too hot, which is interesting. So let's actually go ahead and remove these. And as you can see, the little indicator just moved up. So it went from the blue side of things, from level 3 to level 4. So yeah. So it shows you protection for heat for up to 20 degrees. And the day is actually 29, as you can see. So unfortunately, I don't have the right equipment, so I probably need tier 5, maybe rare, in order for me to combat the shallow lake in the terms of the, I guess, the heat dissipation. And protection from cold is only 2%. So it just sort of gives you guys a little bit of an idea. As you can see, then it backs back down. And then I'm good for 26 degrees, so it leaves a 3 degree deficit there. And I'm good for -4 temperature. So there you go. So it's actually a really good indicator to know what type of armor that you're using. And I could actually use this in cold weather as well, to a degree, of course. No pun intended, of course, but you know what I'm sort of trying to say. So yeah, so that's actually a really good, you know, a really good insight to see how that all works, which is actually quite nice. So I'm actually quite happy with that. Now we'll definitely go back outside real quick and just have a quick squiz of the over map, as well as I want to sort of see what the fog looks like now, sorry, as opposed to what it did beforehand, and see if there's any sort of visual changes, or you know, something that we can sort of I guess theorize, you know, going forward. So we'll definitely go ahead and do that while I take out this bloody jaguar over here. I'm going to take your hide, thank you very much. I may as well while I'm here. And I don't think there's much else up here. I really don't want to spend too much time here with you guys. I know I'd rather sort of get back out here and just really focus on the patch notes. So let's go ahead and do that. And yes, this was the other thing that sort of led me to wanting to discuss further. I did have a quick cheeky look at the extended patch notes just to sort of get us a little bit further of information. And basically what I noticed was timed events. Now I think it specified a couple of the timed events, so not all of them, but I think it was the old road and I think the emergency stop event, they have a chance to spawn anywhere on the map. Okay, so it's not necessarily going to be in the middle parts of the map where everyone can actually frequent and pick things up. And I actually just noticed, I think our ranch has changed in design as well, so that's new. From what that appears to me, and I think that textually everything has changed just a little bit. That's just my initial impressions of that. But yes, I believe you might have a chance of finding events up north, Boreal Wilds, and obviously over in the deep water. Now, let's focus on that for 2 seconds. So, I have sort of looked at it real quickly myself, and there is a lot of fog up here. There's quite a bit of fog, and you have to really scroll, do a bit of a force, bit of a scroll to to go back to the actual part of the map. So this suggests to me, I reckon, there's going to be more expansion to this game, and it's obviously going to encompass this area. I feel like this is probably going to be something for us to look at further down the lines, which to me makes sense because you've got a swamp, and from one side of the swamp you've got our world as we know it, and then on the other side of the swamp it's got to be a whole new world. So I feel like I'm still hanging out for the industrial age of this game, and I feel like that's going to be part of this game further down the line. That's just my opinion. Again, that's not something that I know of, anything of that nature. This is just pure speculation on my part. But other than that, there wasn't really too much else to sort of go through. Again, I'm just quickly having a bit of a look-see here. So my patch notes, I'm just having a look. And so there's blast resistance for animals, for pets. So basically, damage dealt to pets by dynamite explosions have been reduced, and blueprint rerolls actions can now be performed every 22 hours as opposed to 24 hours. And the other thing that I noted here was the player profile improvements. Player profile now includes player ID as well as the rings and amulets that are equipped. Few various UI enhancements, objects on the minimap, so that's what I just cited just before. And the other thing was so regional daily events. So shootout spot and the old road can appear in other regions, not just the central ones. So there you go. And I would suspect that this would change over time, and they would introduce more daily events in all regions. And the one thing I didn't actually see is better loot in Digger's Den. The loot in the final chest has been improved. Additionally, there are a greater number of ore deposits in the obstructed areas. That was one thing I did mention in my feedback. So I am thankful that the developers actually took that feedback on. So thank you, developers. I would hope to see that myself once I get enough resources to do the Digger's Den again. Not something that I'll be doing anytime soon in the short term, but I do want to get back there pretty soon now that I know that there's more things, more deposits in the obstructed areas, and less dynamite is required to clear those blockages, which is actually a nice little thing. So I'm actually happy with that. So there you have it, guys. That is comprehensively everything for update 7.4. Let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are, and yeah, share them if you would like. But do me the favor and make sure you hit that like button, comment down below as I mentioned before, but share the video if you can. That'd be helpful. And if you guys are new to the channel or not, this will help me out the most. If you guys can subscribe and hit that notification bell icon so you don't miss out on any future video, that will help the channel immensely. So thank you for doing that in advance if you guys haven't done so yet. But guys, thank you for watching, checking out again. I will catch you guys in the next one. Next video will probably more or less to be a quick intro into the new battle pass. We'll have a look at some of the tasks for day 1 and see how we go with that. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one.